We are coming on the air with breaking news. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84. His family just released a statement saying Richard B. Cheney, the 46th Vice President of the United States, died last night, November 3rd, 2025. He was 84 years old. His beloved wife of 61 years, Lynn, his daughters Liz and Mary, and other family members were with him as he passed. The former vice president died due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Dick Cheney was called the force behind President George W. Bush, a notoriously silent but powerful vice president who became an outspoken defender of the Bush administration, ardent critic of President Obama. Cheney was beloved by conservatives, vilified by the left. After 9/11, he was influential in formulating the U.S. response, the doctrine of preemptive action. It widened the war on terror from Afghanistan to Iraq. He faced challenges in and out of the White House, shooting a campaign contributor in the face during a 2006 quail hunt. Cheney's daughter Liz was one of 10 Republicans who voted to impeach former President Trump for his role in the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. Dick Cheney came to the Capitol on the first anniversary of that horrific day. We'll have much more on Good Morning America. That's coming up in just a bit. Also on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. Have a good day.
Good morning. This is Morning Sky. I'm your host, Sky. And first and foremost, Mother F. Dick Cheney. Blow down your Cheney packs, your all that. Make sure you blow down enough of those Cheney packs to smoke it till it gets to the tip, till it gets to looks like a small toenail. I mean, smoke it all the way down, because this was a monster. He was an evil person through and through. He is responsible for over 4,492 service member deaths and over 30,000 injuries, as was recorded by the Iraq invasion by the United States. And he had been called the most powerful vice president in all of American history. I say he was the most impotent vice president in all of American history. Well, we're just gonna have to disagree, Rick James. I see you, Bumba. I see you, Rick James. Salute to Rottweiler. Salute to yeah. I'm riding on him. I'm pissing on his grave. I'm spitting on it. I'm doing all that because he was a horrible human being. He based the Iraq war on a lie. And thousands of kids, young people, 19 to 40 mainly, died because of him. That was a good catch, Bumba. Hop to it. Yeah, so, that's another thing too. Like they said about he was hawkish. What is this deal with birds in our discourse in politics? It's so goofy. Oh, you're very hawkish. Oh, you're very dovish. Oh my goodness. Why don't we be eaglish and have justice for us? We couldn't even say American freedom. They had to say Operation and Iraqi freedom. How disgusting is that? They just by names. Names are important to an extent. The hawk is the mascot. Okay, now Rick James is definitely on PCP. You thought it was gonna be a celebration of the late great? Yeah, it's not gonna be a celebration at all. AO is right. He stood for bloodshed. He stood for ugliness. He shot his friend in the face, and he had to apologize. His friend apologized on his behalf for being shot in the face. That's how vicious this guy was. He wasn't vice president. He was vicious president. He had no bearing on this globe, on this earth, on this world stage. He served the government, if you can call it that, for over 30 years, mainly in supportive roles. He never really had a lead role. He never had a solid complete role, unless it was you have to go back to his days in Wyoming. No, not in the butt, in the face. He shot him in the face and on his chest. The buckshot spread. It wasn't like a round. He would have killed him. So it was this buckshot that sprayed his face and his chest. John McCain said it's hot down there. I don't know what John McCain. He was kind of a nothing, but I respected him because he had more respect for President Obama. He was more president. He seemed like he could have been presidential, but I didn't like his politics either. These what Cheney really championed was the idea of neocons within the conservative movement. I don't even like to call it a conservative movement. I just say the rightist movement. People on the right. John McCain was a war hawk and the Antichrist. See, there you go. What is a war hawk? Why are they not eagles? Why are you a war hawk? Where did we get these hawks and doves and hot and cold war from? It's so goofy. I know where they got it from. I think it was a philosopher. I can't remember his name though right now. It might have been Hume, either Hume or Hayek. I can't remember. That is the truth, Bumba. Dick endorsed Kamala. Yeah, for the presidential race. He was backing his daughter's. Well, he came to his daughter's defense after Trump, totally dismantled her in his vicious way. But he called President Trump a coward. So But what got him out of here, y'all? What got him out of here? Besides his cardiac condition, and that goes with Eminem. I know you got a job, Miss Cheney, but your husband's heart problem is complicating. Who said that? Whoever said that is getting a hand clap. I got nothing for you. Nope, wasn't the vid. Who said that line though? Yes, Eminem, yes. He said that way back in 2002, 23 years ago. Jesus Christ, I am old. That was crazy. Yeah, Mathers, I know. Yeah, Marshall Mathers, yeah. That was wild, though. MGK, yeah, that was cute. Just like me. That was funny. But, no, He had multiple heart attacks. I think he had 5 heart attacks in his lifetime, something like that. But that's not what was the main culprit. What was the main culprit? I'll give you a little bit more time. Just look it up, see what happened to Dick Cheney, cause of death or something like that. I'll give you a hint. We've been if not introduced, but acquainted with it for past people that are dear to this channel. Actually, someone who's very close to this channel. The reason why this channel exists. Tell me what Dick Cheney died of besides cardiac issues, and what Toni Morrison died of, and what General Schwarzkopf died of. It's nothing to play with. It's nothing to play with at all. My dad had it before. He said it was like one of the worst experiences of his life. Not liver failure, no. Sunday thinks Dick Cheney is how she keeps a man around. No, it wasn't liver failure. Think about. I'll give you even more closer example. Think about your respiratory system, breathing, your lungs. What does this bacteria usually affect, and how you? And if you spell it right, I'll give you even more hand claps. It's got a silent letter in it. I'll give you that much. Yeah, Dick Cheney, I didn't have a problem with the waterboarding thing. I don't have a problem with the waterboarding. I don't know if he created it, but he definitely championed it. He championed it, which I championed it too. If you're going to get the answers out of somebody, you got to get them out of them. I agree with that. These are not good people that he's doing it to. These aren't innocent hostages that he's waterboarding. These are hardcore terrorists, jihadists, everything like that. You know what? Y'all are taking a while. I'll just tell you. Pneumonia. Yes, pneumonia took him out of here, along with his cardiac issues. Pneumonia took him out of here, y'all. It's nothing to play with. Took out Toni Morrison, took out General Schwarzkopf, among a whole host of other people. If you survive pneumonia, you're pretty much in good standing on the earth, because you survived something that some people check out from. And Dick Cheney, I wouldn't have wished death on him necessarily, but I would wish him to be uncomfortable for the rest of his life. It's almost W's time too. Yeah, well, he was part of it too, and I hate George W. Bush as much as I hate Dick Cheney, and I hate Colin Powell, and I hate Donald Rumsfeld, and all the actors that were involved in creating this myth, this whole lie around the Iraq War. The war in Iraq, actually, it was America's war. But no, we were too busy making sewer systems, building schools, making sure people could vote. No WMDs, no weapons of mass destruction, none, nothing. Like the late great Paul Mooney once said, he didn't even find a firecracker. And we just go on, don't we go on? We just move out our day. Yeah, well, they didn't find anything. 4,000 kids just lost their lives, or their lives were taken from them. Oh well. Next, so what? They Bumba said they just explored the high emotions off of 9/11. I think there's some truth to that. I really think there's some truth to that. Like a lot of people say, what Jadakiss said, why did Bush knock down the towers? Now, Bush is too inept to even contemplate a maneuver like that. I mean, it takes, ironically, not really skill, but like a technique, some kind of mental agility to even conceive of something as wide-ranging and horrific and such a spectacle as September 11th, as vicious and ugly and horrific as it was. It had to be planned out, nevertheless. So of course George Bush didn't plan out 9/11, but like I think Bumba is trying to say, they just took the emotional side of Americans. It was a time. It was like, okay, we can go to Afghanistan. They might be in Afghanistan. That's nice. You got people in the hills, the Taliban, and and Al Qaeda, and all right, we can kind of fight them, and that's cool. That was 2001, October 7th. Another October 7th. That was the first for October 7th that was famous. Yeah, so yeah, okay. But then when Iraq came around, we were like, whoa, why are we going to Iraq? And I think it's in the film W. It really explored that question. Explored why George W. Bush went and engaged in a war in Iraq, and it's really, in my estimation, to one up his father, who had a decisive victory, but not a major victory. What W was trying to go after was a major victory in Iraq, and it became a complete and utter swamp. It became a complete and utter failure. It was a quagmire. I didn't see the movie Vice. Now everybody's going to be looking at it. Watch that streaming. Those streaming numbers are going to go up. Because I was just about to look at it, but you have to pay for it. So I'm like, forget you. I'm cool. I'm not paying for that. Should be streaming. It's going to be streaming on Netflix, I think, in the next few weeks or months, something like that. They might bump it up, to coincide with his death. It was okay. Well, what was what's his name? He played Batman. What's his name? He got fat for the role. He looked aged. I can't think of his name. What's his name? I want to do it without looking it up. I can look it up. But I don't feel, I want you guys to see if you can tell me what his name is. The actor that played Dick Cheney in the movie. Can't think of his name. He played Batman. He played in. No, not Ben Affleck. Get out of here. What are you talking about, Rottweiler? That you had a good point though. That he is Batman. He is one of the Batman. But in Batman, Christian Bale. Thank you. I was thinking about Jason Bateman. He's in the Batman commercials. But yeah, Christian Bale. Thank you, Bumba. Yeah. So how was he? How was Christian Bale in that film? Did he accurately portray Richard Bruce Cheney? I'm not even gonna say his nickname. Like Rick James. Rick his name is Rick Cheney, today. His name is Rick Cheney. But yeah, it's nothing to sneer at, nothing to laugh at. 4,492 caskets. That's a lot of caskets. Master Bruce? He sounded a lot and looked like him. Makeup was cool. Okay, that's great. Okay. And you cry over him. You cry over that white man, Rick James. Cry over that white man. Do what you must do. I can't cry over him. I can't cry over him even if he was a modicum of a decent person. He was not a decent person. He was a white man, but he was black on the inside. How is he black on the inside? What's white in nature and black on the inside? I guess a pretzel, a white chocolate covered pretzel. Yes, he does, Bumba. Yes, he does. He thought like a black man. How does a black man think? Because he's violent? Because who over violent? He behaved like a black man. Okay. I don't know how you behave like a black man, but all right. What's up, Wizard? I see you, sir. Make sure you're smoking on your dick. Your Rick Cheney, your Richard Bruce Cheney Louch packs. He's got 2 daughters that are mourning his death. He got a wife, Liz Cheney. No, not his wife. That's his daughter. Excuse me. Let me pause on that. His daughter is Liz Cheney, and his daughter is Mary. And let me make sure of his wife's name. Lynn Cheney, not Liz. Lynn Cheney. Had to make sure I get that right. Dick pack, yeah, dick pack in the air. I think his daughters are one of them is lesbian. Liz Cheney is. Was he the one he got? Wait a minute, I might get that wrong too. I think Mary. Is it Mary? Which Cheney is lesbian? Mary Cheney, yeah. Mary Cheney is lesbian. Mary Cheney is lesbian. Okay. Had to make sure. I gotta make sure my journalistic skills are up. Was he the one who got into the hunting accident? Yes. That's something that people are going to remember as well. Yes. He shot his quote unquote friend in the face, and he happened to apologize for Dick Cheney for shooting him in the face. That's how weird this thing is. That's strange to me. That's goofy. You the one hunting with him. He turns around and shoots you right in your face and blasts you with all this shot. And hey yo, but yeah, you're supposed to take that? I don't think so. No, I don't make fun of the deceased. No pack for me. I'm not making fun. I'm not making fun. I'm just tearing them down. I'm speaking ill of the dead. I'm not trying to make any fun. Make fun of what? There's nothing fun about Dick Cheney. He was a horrible human being. He got us into a mess. And what came of it? What came of Iraq? They still own the oil fields. They're still under power from Iraqi hands. They're not in American hands. If that was everybody saying, "Oh well, we got to protect the oil fields. We got to take back the companies and put them in American hands." No, that didn't happen. What I want to see what a politician says. What was the result of the Iraq War? Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever. I want to see what they say. They're going to have long-winded, platitude and bromides and all kinds of things. But I would love to hear from them and know what they mean when I ask, what was the Iraq War all about? What was the reason? What was the purpose? What was the outcome? What was the bottom line to all of it? Was he in Skull and Bones? That's a good question. He went to Yale. He failed. He failed out of classes. So he went back home to Wyoming. But I don't know if he was in Skull and Bones. That's a good question. He could have been in Skull and Bones. George W. Bush was in Skull. George H.W. Bush was definitely in Skull and Bones. And his father was in Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones is the organization in Yale. It's like a fraternity. They have established. It's over 100 years old, I think, or something like that, maybe even more. 322. What is 322? He was with Bush back in the good old days. Yeah. Not yes. He was a blood in, blood out. Right. Oh, he's talking about the Rottweiler. Is that what the 322 means? I'm slow. I'm not sure exactly what that means. But yeah, so Rick Cheney, let's call him Ricky. Ricky Cheney, dead at 84. Rick James is crying into his beer, as they say, but he's got whiskey. He's crying into his whiskey, allegedly. I can't get over the caskets. That's a lot of caskets. I know it's not, oh, well, Vietnam and World War II and World War I. It's still lives, still human beings, still, and based on a lie. I mean, Vietnam was horrible enough and terrible and destructive and vicious. Iraq was like a cough. It was like a side effect. The caskets that were the service members were carried in. Wizard. That's it. No, Colin Powell died a few years ago. I think he died last year or the year before. I can always look it up. Look it up right now. Colin Powell death. And he's another one that was a liar. Black liar. He died on October 18, 2021. At the age of 84. Same age as Dick Cheney. Or Ricky Cheney. Same age as Ricky Cheney. He died of the vid, though. Yeah, so that's what I mean when I say about the caskets. The caskets of 4,492 service members who put their lives on the line, not for Ricky Cheney, not for even America, not even, but for their families and for themselves and their compatriots. That's the only reason why they went to war and fought. Because they knew they had to answer a call. They were already in uniform. They couldn't just rebel and say, no, we're not going to fight. They had to pick up their weapons and go and serve and die and will fight and die. For what reason? Who knows? I'm still trying to figure it out. Colin lied and said Zarqawi and Saddam worked together. Yeah, I guess he did lie. And a lot of people point to that too, like, well, we got rid of Saddam Hussein. Yeah, but he was on his way out anyway. They were about to, the Iraqis would have tried him and hanged him all alone. He was just hiding out, and we found him. That's the difference. And then he got hanged. Remember Bush Secretary of Defense? Rumsfeld, yeah. And Halliburton. Yeah, Halliburton. Dick Cheney went back to Halliburton after sometime in the political realm, and I think he still had ties while he was vice president. So he allegedly was getting paid, for the monies that were used to create the weapons and the systems of war. Allegedly, I don't have any proof of that, so that's alleged. No, it was a lady secretary. Oh, that's the Secretary of State. I think you're thinking about. Are you talking about Condoleezza Rice? Condoleezza Rice sounds like a Mexican dish. Maybe we should send her to Mexico so the Mexicans eat her white power. I think she was Secretary of State. I'm trying to. Yeah, Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice. Secretary of Defense was Donald Rumsfeld during that time frame. It wasn't. I don't think there's ever been a female Secretary of Defense, to be honest with you. I can't think of any. You're thinking about Condoleezza Rice. She was the Secretary of the State. He says, yeah, you're right. I thought she was Secretary of Defense for some reason. No, it's all good. Don't worry about it. But, I get stuff mixed up like that all the time. Because they're close. They're secretaries. They're in the same, they're doing basically the same job. They don't, it's not that huge a jump from Secretary of Defense to Secretary of State. You just have various roles that are different. But I'm riding on Ricky Cheney. I can't say I don't want to say I'm riding on. So I'm saying riding on Ricky. We went to her office back in elementary. Oh, that's cool. You got to see one of the liars and the tricksters. She was a liar and a trickster. Along with all of them. The blood that has been shed in the name of their failed war that continues on today. Technically, I think we still have, outposts in different areas, even though it's not, guns aren't blazing and bombs over Baghdad aren't really happening. He says pause. We'll resume. Yeah, let me say that. War is never really over. Well, I would say war is over. World War II is over. World War I is over. Vietnam War is over. Iraq War is almost over. Afghanistan War is over. But again, we have so many outposts. I think there's the last soldier that was to get on the helicopter. But I still think there's at least 2 or 3 personnel in Afghanistan from American standpoint. There's at least 2 or 3. I'm just saying, not literally, because it's probably like 100 or something like that, or more. People stationed in Iraq. You're like, you're in Iraq? What? I can't repeat what Bumba said. Sky with the Diddy vibes off the early. Well, that's why I'm calling him Ricky. I'm not even calling him the D word. I'm calling him Ricky. Call him Ricky. He deserves no respect from me. None. He's worse. I went in on, President George H.W. Bush. I went in on Colin Powell. I went on President Jimmy Carter. I go in, but I can't really go to a level of, redeeming qualities for Ricky Cheney. I just don't. I can't recall any. I can't think of any. If you have any redeeming qualities, you let me know, because I can't think of any. Diddy is devastated after hearing the news. Why is he devastated, Bumba? But 84, that's a good run anyway. If someone's so evil, that's a really great run. 84 years, that's good. It's a pretty good run. He was already on borrowed time. He joked to himself. He said, Cheney's cardiacs, the people that were around him after his one of his initial heart attacks. He knew he was on borrowed time. He knew he was going to check out soon. And it had to be pneumonia. Pneumonia is nothing to play with, obviously. It'll throw you down. I don't know. The flu is something crazy, but pneumonia, I think the flu is because it's virus, it's viral, and pneumonia is bacterial. I think it's a little bit more devastating. And I think it leaves you permanently scarred. No matter if you live and you're healthy or relatively healthy, it will always leave behind a scar. Allegedly, I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor. I'm just wondering. Yeah. I was gonna say that at the top. Did you hear about the Jake Paul fighting? Yeah, Jake Paul was talking about who was his opponent? Let me make sure I get the opponent's name right. Hold on. Oh, now they don't have it. Okay. Yeah, that's tight. That's tight. I'm looking for it right now. Hold on. He calls Gervonta Harris human piece of garbage and cancels their fight. Jake Paul. That's your hero, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be remembered as the master and genius of war. No, come on now. You are definitely on PCP right now, sir. His lungs couldn't handle the THC carts from the vape shot. Well, that was cute, but seriously, I just don't have time to even play around. I just want to show to the world that this was a horrific human being. He seemed like he hated himself. He was so evil. And he had a quiet demeanor, but he wanted to be in positions of power. But he was never really in like the head role. He was always a number two, the wingman. But he held sway somehow. I don't understand. He had a weird dynamic. Wizard, where are we going? Let's stick on topic, sir. I have 0 people in here right now, so everybody left. But no, there's probably like 12 people in here, but I can't see you. But Ricky Cheney has got to go down in history as one of the worst humans of all time. And he's not like on par, of course, with like an Adolf Hitler. He's in the positive side, but he's very low. Hitler, Attila, and other figures, they're in the negatives. They're in the way, 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 way downside. Ricky Cheney is in the lower end of the positive range. See, Rottweiler says, I'm here. We out. I said that because health is wealth. Oh, okay. Got you. Oh, okay. Yeah, health is wealth. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. That's a cliche, but it's true. And you are what you eat. You want to eat sugary snacks, you're going to be in trouble. I learned that salty snacks, salt in general, is good for you. I thought high sodium counts was bad, but I take these drinks. I'm not going to give the name. You can put it in the comment section. But I learned that the salt is beneficial to nerves, to your cardiovascular system, to your veins, to your skin. All that is encompassed in eating salt or in taking salt, drinking salt. Is the guy he shot still alive? No, he died in 2023. Monster energy drinks. No, not Monster energy drinks. Too much sugar. And even the ones that have no sugar in them, they're still not beneficial because they don't have the sodium content that's high enough. For locals are for locals. For FOUR space LOKOS are FOR space LOCOS. For locals are for locals. Butter is good for male testosterone. Okay, now we're just printing random ideas. I have no claims on this. The views expressed by Rottweiler and his do not affect those of Sky and Saunders or any of his affiliates. Discretion is advised. But Ricky was. I'm surprised they didn't call him Tricky Ricky. Tricky Ricky. Just he had a permanent grin, just like it was like a malevolent grin though. It wasn't like a welcoming kind of kind older gentleman kind of grandfather kind of grin. It was like a malevolent, like yes, I will, yeah. Like he looked like Penguin to me. He reminded me of Penguin off of Batman. Random disclaimer. Yeah, he reminded me of Batman. That's the kind of person he reminded me of as a character. Dice was the actual president during the Bush years. Dice? Who's Dice? Oh, you mean that's what a lot of people say, and also what George Bush called Turd Blossom, Karl Rove. Karl Rove is in a documentary called Bush's Brain, and I read his autobiography. Said that his mother committed suicide, and a lot of other stuff was going crazy. But he was always the one that could take a situation and make it better than usual. That's what he was named. He was dubbed by W as Turd Blossom. But they all were. They're all bloody. They all have blood on their hands. Every last one of them. Condi, Colin, Rummy, Cheney, Bushy. They all have blood on their hands. And they know it. And Ricky knew it. Ricky knew he had blood on his hands. He chose that life. He chose that way of being. He wanted to be the powerful in second command or whatever the case. Like he was a chief of staff when he was for George H.W. Bush, or excuse me, was it Ford? I think it was either Ford or George H.W. Bush. He was 34. He was the youngest chief. I hope I'm getting these numbers correct. I just read through. Let me make 100% sure. It was the age of terrorism. And that's the thing too. What is terrorism? What the hell is terrorism? Is it Terry Nichols and Timothy McVeigh? Is it the KKK? Why a war on terrorism now? After the towers fell. Now it's a war on terrorism. A global war on terrorism, they say. He was in George Ford's White House. Chief of Staff, the youngest ever at age 34. So I feel really old now. I'm 37, and what am I doing with my life? Talking to you knuckleheads on some YouTube screen. No, I appreciate you. I'm just messing with you. The video of Alex Jones messing with Karl Rove at a airport is pretty funny. Wow. He would take a sign. Okay, Rick James is just quoting lyrics now. Ricky Cheney, though, I mean, there are no redeem. I can't find them. I don't know where they are. Just finding positions of power. That's not admirable. You're just moving up in a different rank. Still have to show that you deserve to be in that rank. You have to show you have virtues and you're a man of honor and valor. Do you mean Young Bleed? Wilder, Young Bleed is dead at 51. I saw that. You smoke your Young Bleed packs if you want to. Alex Jones should be the leader of the free world. Oh no, Wilder's definitely going off the deep end now. But Ricky Cheney, just terrible, horrible, no good, very bad person. No redeeming qualities. Along with his buddy Bush. Bush may have a few redeeming qualities, but they're very scant and infrequent. They orchestrated it. I don't want to give them. Maybe orchestrated is too good too. They arranged. Maybe even arranged is too good. They put together. That doesn't. Who put this thing together? Cheney. That's who. They devised the outline for the global war on terror. This is totally a ritualistic death. How is it ritualistic, Rottweiler? How do you say it's ritualistic? Why do you say that? George Bush Jr. was on national TV last night. Whoa. Okay. What channel? Was he on Fox? I knew there was no coincidence. Well, I think that is coincidence, sir. I think that is coincidence. Pneumonia is nothing to play with. As we've seen with Mr. Choice Terrain. He beat that. He said he checked out back in 2008. And this one was just like another sign, not from the Almighty Lord, but just from his internal body system, that let him know what it is. Oh my gosh, what is 3 in the house of Jerry Jones? Oh, who was at the 322? Duh, I don't know what 322 stand. What are you talking about, Rottweiler? I'm out of the loop. I'm too old to figure out what 322 means. Is that like blank blank number 5 in between 5 and 8? I'm not even gonna say it. Oh, Skull and Bones, but what is that? What is that? Is that their number? Is that their what are that? Their call numbers? What is that? A lot of people call Dick Darth Vader. Yeah, that was on the Daily Show for a lot of times. Whenever they talk about Dick Cheney, they be like dun 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 dun. The Imperial theme would play in the background. And there'll be like lightning and thunder and stuff like that. Bohemian Grove. What? His death today isn't a coincidence to the boys having a meeting last night. I don't know about that. That's conjecture. That's conspiracism. There's no facts to that. There's no reason behind it. Check your premises, sir. Down to one person, but I apparently have 12,000 people in here. Now it's down to up to 2 people. It was at 5 for one time. Ricky Cheney. Ricky Cheney. What was he? He was the class president in high school. He was the co-captain of the football team. Went to Yale. Failed out of Yale. Went to Wyoming. Ran for, I think, a few seats. I think as a representative or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Then he went into higher politics. Went to the Gerald Ford presidency. Then he was under George H.W. Bush. As Secretary of Defense. So he was a warmonger. This is an actual example of a warmonger. Starting wars that don't need to be started. And what do the service members do? They fall in line. There's no getting. You sign up. You put your life on the line. That's what I don't understand about drafts. I don't understand conscription. I don't understand how it went through. How there were thousands of people that were drafted into the military. How's that even possible? That goes back to the George Carlin joke. People on the right love babies. They want to see babies. They want to see babies, and they want to see the babies grow up to be dead soldiers, dead warriors. That's all they want to see. People on the right, mainly. So that's what happens. That's why 4,492 souls did not come back alive to America. And also the coalition forces, they lost as well. The allies in this war. It's something that we have to contemplate. Ricky Cheney had a run that was very, unprecedented in politics in all the history of America. It was like George Bush was, the puppet, and Cheney was the puppet master in a lot of ways. Yoyama has released his Cheney tribute on Insta. I don't even know what that means, but okay. Ricky Cheney. No redeeming qualities. Nothing that can be said of him. That's why they're hesitant even in the newscast. They're like, yeah, well, they're not really enthusiastic. They're really like, this was a person to be celebrated. This was somebody that was a great achiever or something like that. No, he was a moocher, I think, if we really want to call it. He was a moocher off the American people and a bloodthirsty, murderer, allegedly, that sent kids to die. Because that's the truth behind young people dying in combat. They don't have kids, a lot of them, or they're young, they're maybe babies. They don't have grandkids. They don't have experiences that they would have had in their 20s and 30s and 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. They don't have that. Oh, the cello guy. Okay. As the great Troy Terrain would say, Thank you for laying down life so we can watch cable television and smoke kush. Yeah, he always says that. He says stay low and keep your finger off the trigger. Thank you for having this so I can go around and cut the grass in my boxers and smoke what is it, a Ziva, something like that, a Zeno cigar. Somebody's got to die over this, and it ain't gonna be the Americans. Like my drill instructor once said, "You don't die. You make sure that the other guy dies for his country." I'll never forget that. I got you. Yes, the cello. Yes, the cellist. Yes, I got you. It's it's just a little goofy, that this guy had such a long life. Like I said, this is like the iron. It would be iron. It would have been cosmic irony, I guess, or something like that. The one guy that's all about war and fighting and dying, perhaps he lives the longest. But these kids, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30 something years old, they can't go to their homes, they can't kiss their wives, they can't hug their husbands, they can't lift up their children in their arms. But the politicians that send them to war, they're cozy, they're comfy, they're in nukes, $3,000, $4,000 suits. And what do we get? What we got? Nothing. There was nothing. Nothing for Iraq. Nothing. Nothing. You can't say, "Oh well, we secured the oil fields. Oh well, well, well. Oh well, we protected them, and they decided, well, well, well. Well, we made schools and sewer systems, and well, well, well. Oh, they had an election and they had the purple fingers and they showed it, and well, well, well. All that's well and good, but it doesn't show the fact that Ricky Cheney was one of the most bloodthirsty villains in all of American history. And it will be painted as such through historians throughout all the ages. He will always go down as a vicious figure, despite whatever he may show himself to be from his past. The fact that he had so many heart attacks, so much cardiovascular issues, I'm not going to say that may have contributed to his vicious demeanor, but I would say that there are levels to this. And he was on the level of being one of the worst examples of humanity ever recorded. They are all greedy. I'm greedy. Greedy is a good word. Greed is good. You always want more. Like I was listening to the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're like, we're back to back, we're back to back, we're back to back, and then I hear people say, "Well, three is nice. We can have a three-peat. We have a three-peat." See, it's human nature to be greedy. I don't understand why people would say, "Oh, I'm not greedy." You are greedy. You're greedy for breath. You're greedy for food. You're greedy for life. You're greedy for your family. You're greedy for your wife. You're greedy for your husband. That's yours. You want more of them. You want more of it. You want more and more and more. That's healthy. The difference is gluttony. Gluttony is consuming too much. Greed is producing more than enough. And whatever enough is. Rick James says, I completely disagree. Well, we're just going to have to disagree, sir. He says, Rottweiler says, amen. I know you got a job, Miss Cheney, but your husband's hot bum is complicating. The STC won't let me be, so let me be. They try to shut me down on NTV, but it feels so empty without me. The FCC won't let me be, so let me see. I had it in my head, I can't say it. The FCC won't let me be. I'm trying to think of the right words. The FCC won't let me be, but so let I can't. I have to look it up. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it. Damn it. He said so many syllables. The FCC. The FCC won't let me be or let me be me, so let me see. Wow. He's one of the greatest. One of the greatest. He tried to shut me down on NTV. Yes, if the FCC won't let me be, let me be me, so let me see. So let me be clear. Spent the whole hour on this Cheney character. Rotten piss. He was not a good person. Like nobody has said anything of weight that says he was a good person. It just says his different positions he held. He what didn't show the fact that he was a productive individual for himself. It didn't show, the news clips don't show his accomplishments. I don't know if he had any really accomplishments. I wouldn't be a top 6 MC myself if it wasn't for M. Who said rotten piss? Free rot with me. You got rot with me blocked. I don't think I do. I didn't block him. I blocked Texas. I blocked Death Row. I blocked somebody who was on here that was claiming they were 13. That's all I know who I blocked. I didn't block anybody else. You blocked Death Row because he's brown. Got it bad because I'm brown. No, you're not slick. No, I blocked Death Row because he said he was broke. I don't got time for broke niggas. If you're not bringing anything to the game, if you're not bringing people and eyeballs, if you're not bringing dollar signs, then I don't have any need for you. Death Row is Rod. Is he? I didn't even realize that. I don't think so. But in all, to land this plane, Ricky Cheney is now deceased. He can no longer be a plague on this nation. He had no power in the last few years. He barely could, continue on with his life because of his cardiac issues. And pneumonia finally said, hey, time's up, buddy. It's over. It's a wrap. Let's get out of here. And he obliged. He abided by the disease and kept it moving. All right. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. Rottweiler says, no, I'm rot with me. Who's someone here blocked for no reason. Now I can only join when I'm Rottweiler on home Wi-Fi. That's weird. Can't join while I'm on patrol. What do you mean on patrol on the road? Are you a cop? Woo! Salute to the police. Yeah, so thank you all for visiting with me during this hour. And like I said, rotten piss to Rick Cheney.